supportive role, remained dignified. Often they broke into prayer for their ordeal to end in the conviction of the offender, although intimidation from the perpetrator's friends was rampant in the waiting lounge. Charley could also sense the nerves amongst her colleagues and the witnesses. Their anxiety was tangible. No one wanted to let the side down. Everyone was well aware that the job of the defence in representing their client was to try and drive a wedge into the prosecution's case. The truth was that the attendant circumstances of the murders leading up to the trial had affected Charley deeply, and the fact that her secondment in London was coming to an end and she was returning to West Yorkshire on promotion to detective inspector brought about a relief like no other. She wanted to be far gone from the station where the officers found their colleagues' deaths so hard to deal with. With very little fanfare, the tannoy conveyed the important call to reassemble the court. The verdict was in. The court usher opened the door to courtroom 4. Charley stood, preparing to ride on a wave of people flooding in. It seemed that every pained pair of eyes that met hers begged the same, please let him get the sentence he deserves. Titus Deaver walked up the 18 steps into the glass-screened dock for the last time. The summing up done, the judge read out the impact statement of the family. Despite his experience, his voice was hesitant at times, his emotion raw, whilst tears flowed openly in the gallery. As he closed, the judge asked the foreman to stand. Charley felt the hand of her colleague grip the back of her chair, and it was obvious to her he had dipped his head in prayer. The court usher began reading out the charges to the jury foreman. Listening to the usher's voice, Charley felt the warm quickness of her colleague's breath on her neck, pleading with our Lord to do the victims and their families justice. Waiting for the reply from the jury, every breath of air was sucked from the court by the crowd, as the foreman's forthright tone bounced off the 4 walls. Guilty! 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 Titus Deaver was sentenced to life imprisonment. As his sentence was read out, he showed no remorse, nor was he moved by his fate. Flanked by 2 prison officers, he was taken away. The judge then moved on to commend those involved in the investigation. Detective Sergeant Charley Mann was given a special mention for the discovery of the left luggage ticket tucked down the spine of a Bible in Deaver's possession, a vital piece of evidence which had marked the start of Deaver's downfall. As the judge concluded his summing up and sentencing, like many others in the packed, overheated courtroom, Charley felt the desperate need to leave, to get away from the case and all its gruesome details. She finally exited with the crowd through the wooden door, feeling sick at heart, the fresh air rushing in as fast as the attending media rushed out to catch the press deadline. She determined she would put the skills now acquired during her secondment in the capital to good use. The trial had lasted a gruelling 42 days. It was time to go home. Charley knew almost nothing about the woman who had married her childhood sweetheart so soon after Charley's departure, except what she had seen about her on Facebook. When the woman's pictures started constantly showing sunnier climes, Charley guessed that the happy couple had emigrated to start a new life. She was relieved that she was going to be transferred home to her old patch in West Yorkshire. What was odd, though, was that Charley's ex himself was conspicuous by his absence on social media. It was especially puzzling given that his line of work normally required its considerable use. She couldn't remember ever not having trusted Danny. Older than her, with her grandparents living on the neighbouring farm where she spent most weekends and school holidays, he had taught her to climb trees and hurdle walls. He had soothed her when she had tumbled. It was Danny who'd shielded her eyes when his father had drowned the injured farm cat who was about to have kittens. Danny who'd wiped her tears when lambs were stillborn. Danny who'd disposed of the bodies of the dead animals they came across in the woods with respect and decency, always noting the place with a handmade wooden cross, sometimes made from lollipop sticks. They'd tickled trout together in the river, and he'd shown her how to gut the fish so they could be cooked and eaten on the campfires he had built. Living alone with his dad on the farm after his mother had left for another had taught Danny self-sufficiency.